this review, okay? I put extra practice on slides and on the actual review. So if we want to make it all the way through the review, we're going to have to concentrate on the parts that you have questions on and stuff you're good with. Tell me and we'll go quickly through, okay? Could someone hit the lights so that you can see better? All right, so the first section, well, actually this review is not in the same order as the quiz, FYI, but there is a review section on the quiz that's 1.1. So this is a retake. You have to evaluate a function. So f of 4 means when x is 4, and this graph is horrible. I can't see anything. Is that like 4 maybe? What is the y value when x is 4? Is it this maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, -5? No? -6? Okay. So when, between this lousy graph and Hofbauer's lousy eyes. Okay, so this means when x is 4, what's the y value? And you're telling me that this is -6, right? So what would this one be? If x is -1, y looks like it's also around -1. And those are estimates, and it's okay to put decimals if it doesn't look like it's right on something on the quiz, okay? So evaluating a function. Oh, this would be really important. Read this, make sure it makes sense to you, okay? You cannot retake anything after Thursday, October 4th from any of these standards. So that includes everything that was on summatives 1 through 3. So if you open Skyward and you look in the summative column, they are in order from the dates we took them, okay? And it says as part of the name S1, S2, S3, that's for summative 1, 2, 3. So all of these standards, okay? And some of you do need to go back and do some of these desperately. So we don't have school next Friday, so they're expiring Thursday. If you absolutely can't make it in, talk to me. You need to at least get arrangements made by then. All right. We talked about this. Here's one little extra practice on, we already did these two, right? We got -6 and -1. What's f of 0, guys? Yeah, just means when x is 0, what's y? And it's also 0 here. Okay. Rate of change. How do we find rate of change? We're all doing the review, right? Okay. It is slope. You have to put in a 4. So h of 4, -48 plus 1, -47. Somebody check me, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. Put in a 2, -11. How did I do? No? 2 is 4 times 3. Is it right? Okay. So I had 4, -47, and 2, -11. Yep. What's wrong? Oh, okay. You guys square it first, then multiply. Are we good? Okay, then you have to do slope, and remember it's change in y over change in x. So we get -36 over 2. Anybody get a -18? Did anybody already look at this? You got this? Okay. Do you need me to do another extra one of those or not? Okay. And then determine if it's a function. Is this a function? You could graph it on your calculator to remember how to find the absolute value. Spend a lot of time on this, but absolute value is under math, arrow to the right once. You should actually be able to visualize this one without graphing it. It's math, arrow to the right, the first one, and it's shifted up 3. So it's just a v. Is that a function? Okay. Why or why not? Okay. How would you write me a list of ordered pairs that's not a function? Okay. So -3, 1, 2, 0, 2, 5, and 1, 8. Because the x's repeat, it's not a function, right? Whatever it asks you to do. Somehow it asks you, is or isn't a function. Got this, Austin? Okay. I can evaluate. This one's kind of ugly. If you had -3, a minus 4 quantity squared plus 1, what would you have to do? No. You have to square it first, and you have to literally square each piece, right? Distribute all that. So you would get a squared minus 4a minus another 4a would be minus 8a plus 16. Then you would multiply by the -3 and add 1. -3a squared plus 24a. Then you'd have minus 48 plus 1, I think, something like that. Okay, but the one on the quiz might look like this time. What if you put that in there? Okay, this would become a positive 36n squared, right? When you squared everything that's in there, then multiply it by -3 would be 108. Okay, can we do anything more? Any questions on that one? Did you see another of anything? Okay. Everybody good? There's also 1.2, 1.3, domain range and symmetry is being retaken. I can find the domain range of a function or right interval. So what's the domain and range of this? Domain left to right. And range is bottom to top. Okay, its bottom is going down forever, and the y value up here is 4. Remember, these are x's and these are y's. So it's -infinity to 4. And unless there's an asymptote that it doesn't touch, or an open circle, okay, should be a solid bracket, a square bracket. Okay, what if you have to graph a parabola to find the domain and range? What if the parabola looked like this on your calculator? The domain would be all real numbers, but the range would be, yes, you find the maximum, and if it was -6, 12.2, this would be 12.2, right? With a square bracket, because it's hitting there. Okay. Everybody good? Do we need to do increasing, decreasing on this graph for extra practice or not? I just had written that we could use this same graph. So from like negative, what was that, 3, 4? -3 to -1, it is decreasing, then roughly -1 to 4, maybe, is that 4? It's increasing. Remember, we're using x values here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from 4 to infinity, it would be decreasing. Okay. I'm going to, do you need more practice on domain and range? Okay. Where is this discontinuous? Yes. Yes, but it's not part of that function, that section, so I have more practice on it, okay? Yep. Where's this discontinuous? Does that factor correctly, guys? So remember, the denominator cannot equal 0. So x cannot equal 6, or x cannot equal 1. It says for what values is it discontinuous? So it would be for x equals 6 and x equals 1. If you wrote cannot equal, I'm not going to count it wrong, but the way it's stated, they want to know what values make it discontinuous. Yes. This function down here, where is this not continuous? When x equals 1, as it would make the denominator 0. Everybody okay on that question? All right, then we're to the new stuff. No, we're not. Just kidding. Even and odd. Lord, this messed some of you up. Some of you guessed really well on some of them, but then when it got to another one, okay, how do you know? What makes a function odd? Origin symmetry. It's got to either go through the origin or around the origin and be the same when you turn it 180, right? And what makes a function even? Y-axis symmetry. Okay, so what's this first one right here? It is neither because, yeah, it's not perfectly even on both sides. I'm just going to write none because it's shorter, okay? What about this one? Yeah, I don't have a extra. It's doing the same above and below though, right? I could take a picture here of it. This takes so long. I don't want to waste time. So if I took it, go away. Okay, okay. And flipped it, is it exactly the same? Okay. What about this one? Does everybody get that this one was odd, right? This one is neither because even though it's going through the origin, this bump is not nearly the same as this one, right? This one? Neither. This one? Neither. Even. Okay? You can graph them on the calculator. Everybody all right? All right, so this is graph analysis question. Can everybody take a second to type this in their calculator so we can do this accurately? You have to pick an appropriate window for this question on the quiz. So if I do a standard window, it's not good. Does anybody's look like this in a standard window? Did I get it typed in right? Okay. What do I need? Yeah. I don't need to change my X necessarily. Okay. Yeah, I went too high, but this would work. But you could have a smaller window, okay? What I usually do on my answer key is I find like the smallest you could have, and if yours is out a little further, that's fine. Does that make sense? But you can't have it cut off, is my point. Okay. So whatever you have is fine. You will have to list the window after you do a sketch, it'll say this. It'll look like this. And what did we end up with? That's not the right picture, is it? Yeah, I don't know where did that just go? Okay, so this one needs to go bye-bye. Okay. All right, so what do you have for the window? We did -10 to 10 and -40. You said 15 worked, okay? Okay, mine is like 25, but all right, find the zeros quickly. Anybody got any of the zeros yet? -5 point something, one of them. 5, 9, okay? And I don't care if you just write a list or if you make them ordered pairs. Anybody got this one? It's less than 1, -. Point something. 0.59, 19, 51. Old lady ears, sorry. This one, is that around 2? 2.10? Okay, it does say to the nearest hundredth on the quiz. Anybody complaints not getting those answers? Yes. Everybody's good? Okay. The next thing it asks for, I think, on the quiz is y-intercept. How do you find that? X is 0, so go trace 0, enter. I got 0, 6. That's the y-intercept. Okay. So we did zeros and yes. X equals 0. Yes. So you can put a 0 in here, or you can do trace 0, enter. All right. Maxes and mins. I didn't write anything on my graph yet for a reason, because none of those tie into the other things we need to do yet, right? What we need to write on the graph is possibly the max and min X values, so that will help us do increasing, decreasing. But can someone find the max and the min? I need an ordered pair. It's written as an ordered pair on the quiz like this. Everybody have them in? Nice and loud? Because it shouldn't take that long. -3.59, -35.18. Someone else getting that? No? That's not what you got? Are you not getting that, Dominic? Okay. Oh, I wrote it in the wrong spot. No wonder you're confused. 0.93 and 11.0. Is there another digit there? 4. Thank you. So 0.93 is the X value. Okay. I'm writing the X's on the graph because that's what I use for increasing and decreasing. All right, the next thing it will say is X intervals where f of X is increasing. Okay, so where is this increasing? Left to right, this piece goes. So the only place it's increasing is from what to what? Okay, and where is it decreasing? And again from 0.93 to infinity. Increasing, decreasing is left to right. And I don't care if you draw on your picture. All right. Then it asks, and I very carefully asked in this order, where's an inflection point? And you're just going to estimate, guys, somewhere between this max and this min. If I go to the calculator, so somewhere between negative 3.5 and almost 1. What do you want to pick between negative 3 and 1? Okay, that seems pretty close to the middle. Does that look good enough to you? Okay, make sure you're doing, pick a number between negative 3 and 1 here, or just trace along and pick a spot. It's nice if you pick a decent, a whole number, just because it makes it easier to write down. So the inflection point is negative 1, negative 7. What do I write on my graph, though? I just write the x value of negative 1, right? Okay, what's it doing? Happy or sad? Okay. Are you confused where we got? Okay. Happy or sad? On the left of that. Happy, okay? This is concave what? So up would be from negative infinity to negative 1, and down would be from negative 1 over here. This side is concave down. I only asked one of them, I think, guys, like either up or down, because it's... All right. End behavior we didn't do. It might be written out for you like this. I can't remember. So what do you have to remember to do? If it is, you want to say one of these x's needs to be negative and one needs to be positive, right? Because you're saying left end, right end. Okay, left end is doing what? Yeah, I know it's because we just talked about it being increasing and decreasing, but the values of y as we move to the left are increasing without bound, going up. And the values as we go to the right, on the far right, are approaching negative infinity. Everybody okay? If you still don't get that, please ask for some help. All right, if we had time at the end and you want me to do another one, we can, but I'm going to keep going for now. Transformations are on the quiz. You have to describe the transformations in order. So it says the parent function was absolute value of x and it became this. Okay, if I were to put a 7 in here for x, tell me the order you would do things. 7 plus 5 first, right? Then you'd multiply by the 3. Then you'd subtract the 1. Okay, so you need to tell me those transformations in that order. What does this plus 5 do?
Left 5.
Okay, so that is a horizontal shift, and if you don't say that, I'll be okay with it. Left 5. If you just wrote shift left 5, I'd be okay. Okay, and then what is the 3 doing? Yes, it's a vertical stretch by 3. You don't have to write factor of 3 if you don't want. Makes it 3 times, goes up 3 times as fast. And finally, the minus 1 on the back, vertical shift down 1. Now, the order would not have made a huge difference on that question. The order makes a huge difference when there's a reflection, like this one. Okay? What order are we going to state these in? Going to do this first, then what? Then this, and last this guy. All right, what's the minus 2 do? Okay, horizontal shift right 3. You can just say right 3, I'm good with that. Right 2, thank you. Remember, it's opposite, okay. Then the negative, which is reflect over upside down, right? Which is which axis? X. Please don't say flip. Say reflect, okay? And back here, vertical shift. Any questions? Say that? No. Yeah, that's the parent function. So no. It started with this, so what has transformed it? Yep, good question. All right. So there's a question also where you have to do those in this order. So how would you vertically shrink this by half? It's vertical out front or inside? Out front. So it'd just be 1/2 square root of x. How would you shift it left 3? Okay, and the order between those two doesn't really matter because they're not affecting the same things. One is affecting y and one is affecting x. Okay, up 5. Now to reflect the whole thing over the x-axis, yes, but in this order, but if they want you after you've shifted it up 5 to reflect it, you'd have to put it like this. That's really ugly. I don't think I asked that on the quiz. Okay, the only way to make it, because think about that, guys. If you took the square root, you shrunk it down, there's the first one, okay? Then you shifted it left 3. Then you made it up 5. Now, if you're going to reflect it over the x-axis, it's got to go all the way down here, right? So the reflection came after the shift. I don't think I didn't put that many steps on the quiz. If you need me to make up another one of those, I can in a minute. All right. You do not have to physically do these on the quiz. You have to match one to its description. So I would have drawn the transformation and you would have had to pick one of these. Okay? But instead, we're going to practice it the other way today. If this is the parent function, how would you do 2f of x? Stretch it and change which values? The y's. Yes, where x is 0 would be the y-intercept, the y's. So it's still going to cross at -3 and +3. It stays attached to the x-axis, but it's going to go up to what? Yeah, instead of up to 3, it's going to go up twice that tall, which would be to the very top here, right? So if that was a choice, you would know to put 2f of x. It's a choice. I didn't like, you have to figure out the stretch. No, I gave you multiple choices. But all right, which one do you want to do next? The 1/2? Okay. So it's still the same here and here, but what? Yes, so it's only going to go up to 1.5. All right, let's do this one. What 2 things are happening here? Okay, so left 3 reflect over x. So left 3 would make it here and -6 here. And instead of going up, it's doing what? It's going down. It's been reflected. So I think I did it right. You could, Did I do it right, guys? This one left 3 would be at -3, so it should be down here. Yeah, -3, -3. This one was at +2, so left 3 would be at -1, so it should be at, okay. Last one. Anybody know this one? This is a horizontal, so it's changing axis, horizontal, but it's not a stretch, it's a shrink. By what? 1/3. So instead of going all the way over to -3, it only now goes to -1. Instead of going all the way over to +3 here, it only goes to +1. It's still attached up here to the y at 0,3, but it would only go over a tiny bit and then down. This piece right here that used to be 2 units long would be 2/3 of a unit in there. Again, you don't have to draw it, but if I had drawn those 4 things, could you have picked out the right choice from them? Okay. All right. I do have some more practice on this. Is this the last section, guys, or do we have more? Oh, we got to do piecewise. All right. I have more practice if you want me to talk about stretches, but let's keep going. Oh, we have to write an equation too in this same section. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. So what is the parent function of this? F of x equals square root of x, okay? That's the parent. Everybody would recognize that as a square root function. Okay, how do we start the process? Yeah, you talk about the shifts horizontally and vertically. So it used to be at 0, 0. It's over here at what? 6, 1, -6, 1. So it went 6 to the left, which would be plus, and up 1. Now, it's obviously been flipped as well, right? But you can just find that by putting in a value and it'll should turn out negative, okay? So pick a point that's not the vertex point or the corner point there. -5, -2, is he right, guys? So put the -2 in here and the -5 in here. And just remember, all of this is multiplied together, not the +1. All right. -5 plus 6 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. 1 times a is a, right? So what does this turn out to be? Okay. So final answer, -3x plus 6 plus 1. And you could type it in your calculator to check. Make sure it looked like that and was going through those points. Everybody all right? If you need more practice on that, that's what last night's homework was on, but there's also remediation in the bin. Okay. Piecewise, this is just evaluate. So I'm going to go quick. If I put a -5 in, which rule am I following? The first one, because it's less than -2. -1 squared is 1, so we get -2, I think. If I put a -2 in, I'm following which rule? The second rule right here, so it just stays at 3. If I put a 4 in, I'm following the last rule. This becomes -1, but the absolute value makes it +1. But then when I multiply it by -3, I'm back to -3. So I got 6. Everybody okay? So now we're supposed to graph this. All right. So this is what shape, guys? It's a parabola opening down, shifted, left 4. So over here at -4, 0 is the vertex, and it's going down 2, but it doesn't keep going down 2. Does everybody get that? Which way are we supposed to be going, though? Everything less than -2? So I could put in like -2, -3, -4, -5 if I wanted to. Or I could put it in my calculator and look at the graph and the table to find some ordered pairs. I think all I need to do is put in a -2. Where does 4? Does anybody get a -2, -8? And that would be what kind of circle? Because this is not or equal to, it would be open. And then it would go back up through these 3 points we already drew. And then it would go back down this way. Does everybody know what I mean when I say put it in your calculator and look at the table to find some ordered pairs? All right, this is a horizontal line at 3 up here from what to what? From -2, where there's a what kind of circle? Closed circle. To +3, where there's open. Okay? Now, I'll do this on the calculator. Can someone read me that one? It's -3 math over to number absolute value of what's in x minus 5, and then on the outside was there something too? Plus 9. Okay. So if I go to the table, make sure your table is turned on correctly to ask our auto. I'm supposed to find what values greater than 2 or 3? 3. So 3, 3, 4, 6, 5, 9, 6, 6, 7, 3. There's a bunch of points. What did it start at, guys? 3, 3. This is really important. It's on the quiz. Look, 3, 3 is an open circle right now, but this chunk fills it in because it starts at the same spot. No, it doesn't. On the quiz, it does. Okay, change that to or equal to, because on the quiz, it fills it in. And then what? What were the points? Can anybody tell me? It did this, right? Okay, my question is, where is it discontinuous? What x value did it do a jump? They weren't touching. -2, okay? And this, you need to fix. It should be an or equal to. I think on the quiz, there's only one spot where it is discontinuous. If this was an open circle at 3, but then this one, when you put in a 3 here, you get 2, -6 plus 9 is 3. So if this had an or equal to, it would then fill in that circle and keep going. No, the only discontinuity was over here at -2. It is not discontinuous at 3 because they overlap and touch, okay? All right, so here's, this is a piecewise. It's discontinuous here at -3. It's also discontinuous here. Yeah, all right, let's go to the one you need to do. We got to write an equation. 2 equations. This is not that hard because it's very basic. What is this equation, guys? F of x equals, and it's set up like this on the quiz for you, -4, and it stays at -4 for all values less than -1, right? Open circle, so it's, okay? And then from -1 to +3, with a solid circle at -1 and an open circle at 3, how do we come up with the equation of that line? The slope is going down 1 and over 1, and it crossed the y at -3. Now, the book would probably put like if x is between, but I don't care as long as you write the rule. All right, anything you need more practice on that we just did, there's remediation in the bucket, okay? There's a section you're worried about. Do it ahead of time so you don't have to retake it. I have a worksheet